What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at Scream Muller, and as you can tell in this team we do have a few other Screams that will be reviewed over the next few days. We're going to look to try and complete all of the Scream cards, may even get Aguero done before Friday, hopefully, but we'll see how much we can. If some of them do roll over to Saturday, Sunday, at least we can say we've finished them all. I really want to make sure I try and do all the promos, and Muller and the left mid would have already been out, but as you could tell in my foot highlights video, I do mention all of the footage got corrupted, or it just didn't save, something along them lines, so I don't have it. So I've had to rebuy them as well, because I sold Muller and the BVB left mid, and I'm basically doing them again. They have dropped in price, which is always nice, as I get more of a fairer understanding of what their price will be. At the minute, Muller is sitting at around about 265 on the Xbox and about I think it's 240 on the PlayStation. They are fluctuating quite a lot, so bear that in mind. As Foot Champs comes ahead, we may see them going up. May see them going up out of packs as well due to the Foot Champs as well, because there's going to be a second squad basically. So the demand is going to become a lot more, I think, for some of these players. Muller actually, just as an overall, wasn't a bad player at all. I find that Muller is one of them players that in real life, he's a decent player. He may not be world class, the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Mbappes, but he's a very consistent player. He's played in the top tier of Bundesliga, or at least in Bayern Munich for many years now, but the card on FIFA has been absolutely atrocious and unplayable, even pretty much at the start of the game. So the one thing I do like about him is they've made him usable. That's something that I definitely can credit, and actually he is so decent for the card that realistically isn't getting used, and make it like this. And it was the same with the Future Stars promo. I really rate that. These sort of players that literally are not getting used in anything, I'm very happy that now they're going to have some sort of use in some teams. Obviously, being German, it does sometimes make it harder to link. You have got Gundogan, who's an okay CM, obviously icons. You've got Cruz, who this year really isn't usable. So he is kind of linked towards the German nature. But you can obviously, you've got Hernandez in the Bayern Munich team, who's French. Coman, you've got Alaba, who's Austrian, but they will get the strong links. Then you can break away from that. You've got your perfect links with Muller. Then you can obviously go ahead and move on to a different hybrid of a team. So, to be honest, with him being German Bayern Munich, it opens up a lot more doors. If he was, for instance, Royce, who is German BVB, you've got Witsel, who, to be honest, actually is quite a nice player. And then someone like Piszczek in obviously his flashback mode. You can then have some decent players going up and down the wing. But personally, I'm making the point that BVB don't have the amount of players that you can link with. So Muller's actually quite safe being in Bayern Munich, having them perfect links around him. But anyway, let's get on to the review properly. We're going to be talking about his stats. Straight off the bat, 3-star skill moves. Personally, is not good enough in a cam roll for me. I think, personally, that's the bit that really lets him down. Probably the only bit that lets him down, because, well, we'll get into that. The 3-star skills, personally, I like 4 at the very least. 4 is a nice number with the added agility, decent agility and balance. That works really well for me, and I'm quite happy because the drag bat's a thing, the ball roll's a thing. You need him to be able to dribble relatively decently. He is 6'1", he is right-footed, and he also does have 4-star weak foot, so all of them things are going in his favour. It necessarily doesn't need to be, or he doesn't need to be, a tall player this year, because we've really found out that pace at the minute is what matters, so that is something interesting. High attacking work rates and defensive work rate, obviously, and I did notice him coming back quite a lot, because I started him off no tactics, no nothing. I wanted to see what his natural position was doing, not the fact that I just completely forgot to put a tactic on him. But I found that he was coming back a lot. He was really pushing back into our half, when realistically with my cam, I want him floating. I don't want him too far back unless I'm really under the attack. Then I'd want him to kind of drop back a little bit more. But he was dropping back even with that one shot. The guy's maybe not passing it around our box. He's already there. So that needed to change. I put him on the instructions to stay up front, Again, sometimes he did creep back. Again, mainly when obviously they are attacking for quite a long period of time. We know people shift left to right. Then he does start to drop back and try and win the ball back, which isn't a bad thing. But obviously, it all depends on one stat, which is his stamina. So 88 he has got. Not terrible. He can hold it, he can do it, but if he's doing that constantly throughout the match, you're going to find him very tired by the end of the game. And if you are in a FUT Champs game, I don't think he'd make the 120, to be honest. Again, there's other players that won't, and to be honest, most players don't make the 120, but it's just a feature that I thought I'd share. Dribbling wise of him, 99 reactions, which I definitely saw. Really good at intercepting that ball, and especially not as a defensively minded player. Really good at getting in that positioning kind of aspect. 94 composure, fantastic. Was decent at shooting. Wasn't the best. Wasn't like oh my god, you need to start shooting with this kid. But was enough to say, yeah, that's a decent cam right there. 85 pace, 85 shooting, a couple on the shooting. Shot power is only 79, so it's something you may want to look at when you come to putting a chemistry style on him. Personally, I think the pace was actually completely fine. 85 is really nice. He's only got 81 acceleration, but I found that to be just enough for me. I would probably, if you wanted to add that little bit more pace, I think a Hawk would do it. I don't think a Hunter would really make that much of a difference for you. I really would kind of balance it out, get a bit more of that physical, because on the base stat, he only has 68 strength, and that does bring us on to another weakness. He is a very weak player. I think if it wasn't for the fact that he's 6'1", I really think he would struggle in a game, because he does get attacked quite a lot, and being in that middle role, you're not necessarily running past players constantly. Sometimes you have got your back to the player, they're already up in your grill. If they're on constant pressure, you need to make sure that he's strong enough to do it. And you can see here, the agility side of him, it's not necessarily his agility stat, but the just agility of him overall when it comes to dribbling is a little bit slower, and if he was that bit quicker, he may have got that ball out quicker than obviously what he did and actually managed to get an assist. Saying that, he played really well, so I'm coming towards the end of it now, but in general, I really like this card. I thought it was decent enough to say, for probably, I'd say more near the 200k mark, probably when Thursday rewards come out, I'd actually consider having this card in a team. He's decent overall. I would probably put him as a starter rather than a super sub. I don't think he'd bring too much to the team as a super sub, as obviously when it comes to them sort of roles, you really need to have someone who's going to make that massive impact straight away. I think Muller is that kind of overall player. He may get a few goals here and there, may have a quiet game, but overall he will be consistent with what he actually does on the pitch. And if he doesn't get a goal, I can guarantee that he more than likely will get an assist. If you're playing with him right, he will get something in a game, every single game, and it's exactly what he did for me. I think 5 or 6 games I played with him, and I'm pretty sure he scored 3 and assisted 2, and that's just phenomenal. He may have scored even more. I've not even counted how many goals he's scored, just taking a wild guess right there, but I know he has scored at least 3, and then he's got a couple of assists, as you can see here. Here's one of them. Fantastic dribbling right there. Manages to get the ball roll off, even though being tackled, does manage to still get the pass off to Narbury, and he bags it in the net, and that's something that I really like about him. Really consistent. So going into the overall player review, personally I do think he is better than Havertz. I would say in-form Havertz would be better than him, but normal Havertz I really wasn't too impressed with. I feel like a lot of hype was mainly around from last year, so if Havertz gets himself in a team in a season, in a couple of more informs, I think he'll start to get back to that sort of level. But at the minute, as an 84, Muller is 100% better than him. Personally, I do think Royce is better than Muller. Playing with a little bit of Royce on draft, not having my full go with him just yet, but I will be definitely doing that. I think Royce just plays that little bit better, mainly because he's a little bit smaller and his dribbling is that little bit quicker. I said a little bit, far too much in this review. He's just a bit quicker when it comes to the dribble, and I think that adds wonders to a team and wonders to a cam as well, because you want that quick passing, you want that being able to shift that turn, the ball roll, the drag back, you want it all to be quick and crisp. And to be honest, sometimes you may be risking it and the guy's gone for a tackle and you've just pressed it. You want it to be really, really quick. So Royce does possess that, and I think that is what makes him personally better than Muller in this review. Like I said, 265k at the minute. That does fluctuate. I've seen him go for 240, so be aware of that. Personally, I'm giving him a value for coins at a 6 out of 10 at the minute, because if he does drop to, say, 200k, 180k, then I would definitely say you're in money. That's when I would be going to get him and putting him in my club. 7 out of 10 for FUT Champs. I still think there is players that are better, obviously, and for the price, you could afford them. And then an overall, I'm giving him a 7.5. So there you go. There's the Muller review. We're going to be doing others very, very soon. We've got Sabitzer, and then I'm going to have to learn the left mid for BVB's name before we do the review, but we will get that out. We'll also have, hopefully, Ibra. We'll also have Otamendi, and then whoever else there is. I think the only one that I'm questioning at the minute is Aguero, but we will see if we can get that out. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe down below for new content every single day, and I'll see you all for the next one.